Right. Good afternoon. I am Councillor Mary Locke and I will be chairing this hearing of Subcommittee C of Licensing and Public Protection Committee of Birmingham City Council. Before we start, can you all please mute your microphones for the moment in order to improve the sound quality whilst I outline the procedure. Can you also please turn off your cameras, and with the exception of committee members, unless you are the person speaking. This is to reduce bandwidth. Committee members will have their cameras switched on throughout the hearing. Could everyone attending today's meeting please put their mobile phones on silent and ensure they are situated in a room or environment which is free from distractions or unnecessary noise emanating from radios, TVs, etc. Thank you for that. I am speaking slowly and clearly so everyone can follow. It is vitally important, for what I hope are obvious reasons, that those attending the meeting and making representations are able to hear me and the members of my subcommittee and officers. Any distractions brought to my attention could result in the meeting being suspended temporarily or to another date and time under the regulations for these types of meetings. I also confirm this is a public meeting and it is therefore being live streamed on the City Council's website in order that the general public can view it. And that and members of the press may record and take photographs except where there are confidential or exempt items. Members are reminded that they must declare all relevant pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests arising from any business to be discussed at this meeting. If a disposable pecuniary interest is declared, a member must not speak or take part in that agenda item. Any declarations will be recorded in the minutes of the meeting. Did you want to make any declarations?
Chair, can I just make a declaration?
Yeah.
I am lead member from Birmingham, the West Birmingham Fire Authority, and I'm also the vice chairman of the West Birmingham Fire Authority. Thank you.
Apologies were submitted on behalf of Councillor Sam Forsyth and Councillor Mary Locke was the nominated substitute member. Can I welcome you to this hearing for an application in respect of Dubai Shisha Lounge, 647 Stratford Road, Sparkhill, Birmingham, B11 4DY. I'll begin with some introductions. My name is Councillor Mary Locke and I am chairing the meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. With me are other members of the subcommittee, Councillor Zafar Iqbal and Councillor Penny Wagg. Also present in this meeting are the following officers: Licensing Officer David Kennedy.
Good afternoon, Chair.
And Committee Manager Katie Townsend.
Good afternoon, Chair.
And Committee Lawyer Joanne Swampalai.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Could I ask all parties to identify themselves, please? Firstly, the applicant. I think it's Mrs. Henna Mahmood. Could you please identify?
Hiya, yes, Chair. I'm Henna Mahmood. I'm representing Evil, the owner of Dubai Lounge, of his at the present.
And your partner to the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, those making representations, West Midlands Fire Service, Darren Reid.
Morning, Chair. Morning, everybody. Yeah, Darren Reid, Inspecting Fire Safety Officer for the West Midlands Fire Authority.
Could I ask any persons making representations, do you wish to withdraw their representations at this stage of the hearing? I will assume that all parties have read and understood the Licensing Committee procedural rules set out with the notice of today's hearing. Please note that given the nature of today's proceedings, I may at my discretion amend the procedural rules to reflect the fact that this meeting is taking place online, but wish to assure you that any such amendments will not impact on the party's right to a fair hearing. We will be using the chat function in Microsoft Teams to communicate. One of the icons on your toolbar is a speech bubble. Click the speech bubble and go into chat. If you do not have access to the chat function for any reason, please use the raise your hand function to indicate you wish to speak. The button is usually fourth from the right on the toolbar. You can do so, of course. You can also indicate verbally that you wish to speak at the appropriate time. And you all confirm now that you have access to the chat facility by typing your own name now. Officers will type their job title. The meeting will not proceed until we've all done so.
That's everyone, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Please also keep the chat column open for the entire duration of the meeting in order that everyone can follow the messages being posted in the chat. If any participant has dialed in on an audio telephone rather than a Microsoft Teams, please speak now to confirm that you can hear and be heard. With the exception of the subcommittee members, please keep your camera off unless you are the person speaking. If the problems with bandwidth, which cause difficulties with sound, I may at my discretion ask everyone to turn their cameras off in order that the meeting can proceed with everyone able to hear and be heard. Does anyone wish to make any preliminary points at this stage? If so, please indicate that you wish to raise a point by typing speak into the chat function or use your raise a hand function now. Thank you. I will now briefly outline the procedure which we will all follow at today's hearing. Firstly, the licensing officer, David Kennedy, will present the report. Then the applicant will be asked to present their case. We are asking that this could be kept to an approximately 20 minutes. Next, those making representations will be invited to present their case. We will ask that this is kept to approximately 20 minutes also. Can I ask all parties to speak slowly and clearly as they possibly can, because the officers are taking notes by hand for the minutes, and the meeting is also being live streamed for the City Council's website. If at any time it is somebody else's turn to speak, please mute your microphone and use the chat function to communicate if necessary. Please note the members of the subcommittee will be able to ask questions at any stage, but will try to do so at the conclusion of each presentation. Cross-examination by the applicant and those making representations will not be permitted unless the members consider it appropriate. Where questions are raised by members of the subcommittee or by those present, they must signify this using the chat facility set out in the right-hand side of the screen you are viewing the meeting on. I will determine verbally or in writing on the chat facility the order in which questions are dealt with. So at any point in the meeting, if you wish to speak, please type the word speak into the chat function, and the meeting manager will ensure that we come to you at the appropriate time. If at any point you cannot hear or are having problems with your internet connection, please use the chat facility to alert the meeting manager. The chair will then ask the person speaking to repeat what they have just said. It is therefore important that you use the chat function as soon as you are unable to hear the person speaking. It may be that there is problems caused by people still having their microphone on or cameras on, which creates interference. So I'll remind everyone to please mute your microphones and turn off your camera when you are not the person speaking. When I point out that occasionally it may be necessary for the subcommittee to take legal advice, at my discretion, I may ask the parties to await in the meeting whilst members and the relevant officers withdraw to take legal advice using a separate meeting within the Microsoft Teams. We will then return to this meeting and continue. Please note that if any time the live stream is being broadcast on the City Council website fails, I will ask you to mute your microphones and the cameras and to stop speaking until the live stream is restored. If at any time this meeting goes into private session, the meeting manager will pause the live stream. Once the private part of the meeting is over, I will ask the meeting manager to confirm that this live stream has resumed before we continue. At the conclusion of the hearing, I will invite all parties to make a brief closing submission. Can I stress that no decision will be taken until all the evidence has been heard? At the decision-making stage, the members and the relevant officers will withdraw from this meeting in order to determine the decision. They will go into a separate Microsoft Teams meeting. In the event that the members need to clarify any point, you will be telephoned by the meeting manager. The members will then make their decision and you will be notified of the decision of the subcommittee within 5 working days. I hope that is reasonably straightforward. So with that, can I ask the licensing officer, David Kennedy, to present the report, please, as slowly and clearly as possible.
Thank you, Chair. Debonley Shisha Limited applied on the 21st of September for the grant of a premises licence for Debonley Shisha Lanes, 647 Stratford Road, Sparkhill, Birmingham, B11 4DY. The purpose of this report is to consider the representation that has been made in respect of the application, which initially sought to permit the provision of late night refreshment to operate indoors only from 11 PM until 3 AM Monday to Sunday. After discussions with West Midlands Police, the applicant has agreed to cease the provision of late night refreshment at 2 AM each day. The premises to remain open to the public from 12 midday until 2 AM Monday to Sunday. A representation has been received from West Midlands Fire Service as a responsible authority, which is attached at Appendix 1. The application is attached at Appendix 2. Conditions have been agreed with West Midlands Police and the applicant, which are attached at Appendix 3. The hearing was initially scheduled to be heard on Wednesday the 9th of November. However, on the morning of the meeting, the City Council received notice that another person, not the director of the applicant company, wished to represent the company at the hearing. As the notification had not been made in accordance with regulation of the Licensing Act 2003, Hearings Regulations 2005, the meeting was adjourned. A copy of that adjournment decision is attached to Appendix 4. Site location plans are at Appendix 5. When carrying out its licensing functions, a licensing authority must have regard to Birmingham City Council's Statement of Licensing Policy and the guidance issued by the Secretary of State under Section 182 of the Act. The licensing authority is also required to take such steps as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives. The options available to the committee today are to grant the licence in accordance with the application, to refuse the application, to grant the licence subject to conditions modified to such an extent as considered appropriate, exclude from the licence any of the licensable activities to which the application relates. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Now, would the applicant like to make their presentation now, please, Mrs. Mahmood?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So basically, we applied for the licensing as we do get a lot of, locals come to that place, and we applied for their license, and there was just miscommunication as Ibo Sahid, he traveled abroad. So I think one of the fire department team came down to see the premises. And we thought once Ibo Sahid comes back, we'll continue and speak to them and see what needs to be done. So the fire service did come down. So they're giving us until the 28th of this November to get everything sorted. So everything has been done. We're just waiting for a few more certificates to be sent over to us. The fire assessment has been done. Seating has been fireproof. Everything that the fire service department has told us to do, we have done it. We're just waiting on the proof. Certificates need to be sent to us so we can send them straight to the fire department in the council. So we're just waiting on a few certificates. But to get this license will mean so much to us because it is our livelihood and it is the main thing for the community, as we do get a lot of locals coming down and they do really appreciate the place. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Right. Any questions, Councillors Iqbal?
Chair, I was going to ask about the fire assessment report, but I think there's somebody from the fire authority here, so I'll let him make comments and then come back. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Wag. You're on mute, Councillor Wag.
Not at the moment, thank you.
David?
Yes, Chair, it may assist members if the applicant confirmed whether the premises are currently trading and and if so, when they commence trading.
Sorry, I didn't quite get you there. If you could repeat the question for me, please.
If you could confirm to the members if the premises are currently trading, open to the public, and if so, when did you commence trading?
Trading at the moment, the place has been closed due to the fire services coming down, and they are doing their assessments and risk assessments, as I said, to get the licensing sorted. So we're just waiting for the safety certificate to come to us so we can reopen and sort things out.
So you're not trading at the moment, then you're closed?
Yeah, at the moment we're not trading as we're waiting for our safety certificate to come over from the fire department that did our risk assessment and changed a lot of things to make them fireproof in the premises.
When did they come over?
It's been going on for the past few weeks, for the past week since they've been coming down, and we're just getting all our, like, the fire extinguishers, we got fire blanket, everything installed in the premises, getting our fire extinguishers updated, everything's getting done.
Okay. Nothing else from it. Joanne, do you want to ask anything?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, and thank you, Mrs. Mahmood. I'll ask now. Those making those wishing from the West Midlands Fire Service now. Darren Reid.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Morning, everybody. Yeah, we actually visited the premises on, I think it was the 7th of November. And it was obviously in line with our primary legislation, the fire safety order, and also the fact that we put representations in against the public safety aspect of the licence. There was quite a few concerns when we originally visited. It wasn't only the fire retardancy of the wall coverings and the ceiling covering, the settees. We'd also got occupancy problems. We've also got travel distance problems, and all these issues are highlighted on a a letter that we sent to, I think it was to Mr. Saheed and Mr. Mahmood. And subsequently after that, me and a colleague revisited the premises to see where we were in line with that letter, because if we'd have made progress with the things that we'd spotted on the day, we could have removed the representation. But unfortunately, nothing had been done. So we spoke, I think it was Mr. Saheed at the time, we spoke to Mr. Saheed and told him that if he did make inroads to the issues that we'd found, then we could possibly remove today's representation. But we've had no communication at all since.
Is that all you want to say, or is there anything further?
No, I think that covers everything that we need to get done. As soon as we start making progress into the issues that we found, and there are quite a few issues, the representation will be removed, because there was more than just what was mentioned previously by is it Mrs. Mahmood, Henna Mahmood. So as soon as we start making progression, then the fire safety order can be met and the representation will be removed. If that makes sense.
Any questions, Councillor Iqbal?
No, that's fine. Just a bit concerned that the lack of communications between the applicant and the fire service. So I think that needs to be cleared up that as soon as possible. So, you know, like Darren said, they need to communicate with the fire service and provide the evidence that the fire authority is looking for. Thank you.
Councillor Wagg? You're on mute.
Nothing at the moment, thank you.
Right. So that's your representation, Darren, is it?
Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, I think that covers it. And yeah, as soon as the RP or the owner of the Dubai Shisha gets in touch with us, and they have got all my contact details, we can make progress and move forward with it. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say.
Do you wish to make a closing? Mrs. Mahmood, you've got your hand up.
Hi, yeah, thank you. I just want to say to Darren, we will, as soon as this meeting's over, we will contact you, and we want to tell you where we have reached and what's been done, and if we can just work together. I know there's been miscommunication. It's just recently I've lost a good friend of mine. He was a taxi driver in Wolverhampton. He's lost his life, and I've been busy with funeral. I'm so sorry. I know this does not excuse this meeting or anything, but I know there has been loss in communication, and we are very sorry for that.
Oh. Well, that's something outside of this. Darren, do you wish to make a closing submission?
No, I think that's fine. I think we've covered everything that we need to cover it from the side of the fire authority. As soon as compliance with the fire safety order is met or partially met, we can work with the lounge to remove the representation. It's yeah.
And those making closing, Mrs. Mahmood, do you want to make a closing submission? Oh, David, sorry, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. Just to remind both parties that the application is before the committee today to be determined today. There would, if I highlighted the options available to the committee today to either grant the licence or refuse the licence. So there would be no ability to withdraw the representations at a later date or hold off a determination of this matter than taking place today.
Okay, thank you, David. Mrs. Mahmood, you've got your hand up.
Oh, sorry, no, I haven't taken it off, sorry.
Okay. Do you want to make a closing submission?
I just want to say we are ready to get this done. As I said, everything's done. We're just waiting on a few certificates to come my way so I can send them straight to Darren and get this issue resolved. Thank you.
Right, I will now ask all parties to leave the Microsoft Teams meeting, and the members of the committee lawyer and the members, the committee lawyer and committee manager will go into the private session with the committee while the committee makes its decision. You will be notified of the decision of the committee with the decision of the subcommittee within 5 working days. Thank you.